guys, and welcome to Trucking Along with Kearsey. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. Today we're going to talk about scaling out on CAT scales, and I'm going to tell you how we do it as company drivers at Prime, because there are two ways to do this to make sure that you're paying for it and the company is reimbursing you. I suggest wherever company you're using, make sure you know how to get reimbursed. Every company is going to be different. Some companies will allow you to use the CAT scale app, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And then some companies have you pay cash for it or credit card or whatever, and then they reimburse you, which at Prime, we can also do that. So I'm going to discuss how Prime reimburses us, how to make sure that you get paid for that. One thing I tell everybody, make sure that when you first get your truck, fill up the tanks, go scale it out bobtail. You should know how much your truck weighs without the trailer. Then pick up an empty trailer, scale it out again. You need to know this. People underrate knowing how much you should weigh. Roughly, it's about 34,000 pounds with the truck and trailer for what I drive with the reefers. I'm gonna guess that the dry vans will be less because you don't have the weight of the reefer on there, right? If you have an APU, it's gonna add more weight than if you didn't. So like a Cascadia is gonna weigh less than a Peterbilt. So you should really know how much your truck is gonna weigh. The type of trailer that you have is gonna make a difference. But why do you need to know that? You need to know that because if you have the wrong bills, for example, or a customer didn't give you all of the bills, you'll know right away if you know how much your truck normally weighs, and then you scale out. I actually went to a customer one time and they gave me bills for 10,000 pounds, and when I got on the scale, I was like 70,000 pounds. I'm like, whoa, we're missing some bills here. We're missing some bills. So that's one reason it's important. Another reason important is because it's going to affect your speeds. You're going to want to slow it down when it comes to going downhill. The heavier you are, the slower you're going to want to be. Now, I was just up in Cabbage, and one of my friends was laughing at me because there is a speed limit sign that if you're fully loaded, your speed should be 18 miles per hour going down Cabbage. It's actually got levels or tiers based on your weight. So it might say like 75,000 to 80,000 pounds, it's 18 miles per hour. For 70 to 75,000, you should be at 25 miles per hour. So how would you know what speed you're being told to drive if you don't know how much you weigh? No. Also, your weight's going to play a part when it comes to driving through wind. The heavier you are, the safer you're going to be driving through winds. Don't be driving through wind at 60 miles per hour with an empty trailer. You might not make it home. Not a good idea. You also have to know what you weigh, not just total, but you need to know what you weigh on your steer axle, your drive axles, and also your trailer axles. Here at Prime, we have something called a right weigh. Right weigh is in my dash, and it will tell me how much weight I have on my drives. My International not only had that, but it had a factory feature in the digital dash that would tell me how much my drives weighed. At Prime, we also have a right weigh scale on our trailers. The good thing about this right weigh scale, you can calibrate the one on your dash to make sure that it's right and accurate. The trailers might not be so accurate, so if you wind up with a heavy load, 42,000 pounds, 44,000 pounds, be sure to scale it out just to be safe. You don't want to be running illegally. You want to make sure that you're not going to get a ticket, especially when you're new. You don't want to start out your career that way. And who the heck wants to pay a fine? I mean, come on. I can spend money on lights or hair. Some customers have their own scales. They're not always accurate. There are two different kinds of scales. One scale is just a platform. It's just one huge plate. So you roll the truck on and it'll tell you the total weight. Now, if you want to know what the axles are, you're going to have to do a little bit of math. The steer tires on, write down that amount. Now pull forward and you'll have the steers and the drive axles on the platform. So you write down that amount. Guess how you figure out what the drives weigh? You have to subtract the steers from the total of the drives and the steers. That's how you figure out your drive weight. Then you pull completely on the platform and you'll have the total weight that now, if you subtract the steers and the drives, it'll tell you how much your trailer axles are. Some people suck at math, but this is how you have to do it if you're at a customer that has just the plain platform scale with just one plate. Now, some customers have the 3 different plates, just like a certified or a CAT scale would have at a truck stop. So you roll on and you make sure your steers are on one plate, your drives are on a different plate, and then the trailer will be on the 3rd plate. That's the easiest one to do and no math involved. Woohoo! So when it comes to scaling, you want to make sure that you release your brakes. That means your brakes are not on. Put your truck in neutral. Scales are level. You might roll just a little bit until it as you take your foot off the brake, you might roll just a little bit till it settles, and then it'll settle, and then you will have a more accurate weight. When it comes to being a company driver, there are a couple ways that you can pay for the CAT scales. Company drivers at most companies are not going to be responsible for paying for the price of scaling. At Prime, there's 2 ways to pay for this service and then get reimbursed by Prime. Make sure you ask your company how do they do it, because if you don't do it properly, you're not going to get reimbursed. That's just business. They're going to want copies of their receipts. They're going to want you to fill out a macro or whatever it is that your company requires. There are 2 ways, two ways for us to do this at Prime. The easiest way is to go on the Weigh My Truck website, use your email address to sign up with an account. You can then add your ComData card or whatever fleet card your company's telling you to use. You can then add your ComData card. Now, your company might use a different fleet card that's eligible for this phone app, so make sure you ask your company. You enter that in, then you drive onto the scale. The GPS will actually know what location you're at. If it does not read it, there is a 4-digit code on the speaker of the scale, of the CAT scale. So you would punch in that 4-digit code and it would know what scale you're at. Give it a second. Make sure your brakes are not applied. If your brakes are applied, meaning they're pulled out, or you have your foot on the brake, it's going to give you an inaccurate reading. So put it neutral, wait till it levels out, don't have your brakes set at all, the brakes are completely released, get on your phone app, hit the button, it's going to find it with the GPS. Okay, then it's going to ask you a few things. It's going to ask you for your truck number, your trip number, your trailer number. These are pretty much the same things you use all the time. You need them for your washouts, for your truck washes. You need them for fuel. So it's not something that you've never seen before. Okay. Once the scale connects with the phone app, it's then going to give you the weights on all your axles, and it's going to give you your total weight. you will know right away whether or not you are legal. You can then pull off the scale, make an adjustment if you need to slide your tandems. Then you can get back on the scale again and do a reweigh. It will actually have a reweigh first weigh button. So if you need to reweigh it, the price is a lot less. It really doesn't matter if you're using your Comdata card, because the way Prime does it, they take it out from the card and then they reimburse it, and it's all done in the background. You don't have to do anything other than just use this card. Now, if you want a copy of the printout, the CatScale app will send you a copy of the actual ticket. It will go to your email address. You have 1 hour to go inside and get a paper copy. Now, say you have no phone, your phone's data's not working, it's not connecting to the scale, whatever. See, I'm gonna put that on a shirt, whatever. I'll put a hat, whatever. But it's not connecting with the scale. All you do is you go inside, you pay for the price of the ticket. I think they're up to like 13 bucks now. When I started, they were like 11 or 10 or something. But they're like $13 or something. So you would hit the little button. You get on the scale and you hit this little button and this lady comes on the intercom. You usually can't understand her, so it sounds like rah, 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 rah. You remember like Charlie Brown's teacher? Rah, 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 rah. That's what it sounds like. So what they're really saying is first weigh or reweigh. Meaning, is this the first time you're scaling this load or are you reweighing it? They need to know that because the price is much cheaper if you're doing a reweigh. So you say first weigh, then they say truck number. You tell them the truck number and you pull off the scale, you go park. You go inside and then you tell them what your truck number is. They're gonna pull up your information and they will then ask for your trailer number and your company. They will then give you a ticket, little printout ticket, woo. At Prime, what we do is there's a macro. It's a macro 13. And it asks you the questions like the date, the time, the amount, and it'll ask for a ticket number. Now, on the yellow piece of paper in the bottom left corner, there is 4 digits. That is your weigh scale, your CatScale ticket number. That's what I put on this macro. Once you hit send, the computer sits there and processes stuff, and then it shoots you back a message that says, here's your PO number for the amount of blah, blah, blah. And in order to get paid for that, you don't have to do any of this if you use the CatScale app. You only have to do this if you go in and you pay for it in cash. You pay for it out of pocket. Then you write down the PO number and the amount on your trip sheet under scale ticket. Real hard. And then in your pay next week, you will scan in that receipt with the bills for that trip and the trip sheet. And then in the next pay, guess what? Boom, there's your money returned back to you. Say you get the scale ticket from the woman at the counter and you need to reweigh because you're overweight, you need to slide your tandems, go back outside, slide your tandems, come back up on the scale, push the little speaker button. Charlie Brown's teacher's gonna go, wah, 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 wah. And she's really saying first weigh or reweigh. You say reweigh. She's gonna ask you for what? What? The 4-digit number on the corner of your ticket. You know why? Because that's gonna bring up all your previous information. So after you do that, you go back and you park, you go back inside, and then you find out, well, did sliding the tandems make a difference? It's always gonna make a difference, but it did make a big enough difference for you. Now, this all sounds really complicated, but as time goes on, you'll be able to use your right weigh gauge on the dash and be able to figure out where your tandems should be. You'll be able to know from the weight of the product in the truck, most likely where do you think your tandem should be. It gets a lot easier as time goes on, and I generally tell people to scale out at 41,000 pounds or more if they're new, and it'll give them an idea of learning the procedures. Now at Prime, even though we have the ability to, use the phone app and get the scale ticket and everything, it doesn't make much business sense to go scaling products that are very light. You're just wasting money, because a 20,000 pound load is not going to put you overweight, so there's really no reason to scale. 35,000 pound load is not going to be overweight at any particular place on your truck, so it's not really conducive to scaling. Tell me down below, how does your company do it? Do you use a Comdata card? Are you using some other kind of card? Is the phone app easier? Do they make you do a macro? Tell me, I want to know. And thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, ring my bell. Yeah, I know, I'm showing my age. I'm hoping it's not showing here though. I got a new light and I was hoping it was gonna get rid of my wrinkles. But thank you guys so much. Mwah. Have a great day, and I hope to see you out here trucking along. Bye.